Welcome to a world shrouded in mystery. Today we'll shed light on one of history's greatest enigmas. Towards the end of the 16th century, brave explorers embarking from Europe reached the shores of what we now know as North Carolina. These new and uncharted lands were filled with great hopes and dreams. There, on Roanoke Island, a mystery unfolded that continues to baffle historians and ignite imaginations: the vanishing of an entire English colony. This disappearance has remained a puzzle waiting to be solved for centuries. Imagine a settlement bustling with life, families building homes, starting anew. Children played under the shadows of the New World, their laughter echoing. Now picture that same settlement, abandoned, empty houses echoing with silence, the fate of its inhabitants unknown. This silence is the echo of lost lives. This is the story of the lost colony of Roanoke, a place once filled with hope, now shrouded in mystery. The Roanoke colony represents one of England's attempts to establish a permanent foothold in North America. However, this attempt ended unexpectedly. The unanswered questions surrounding its failure and disappearance serve as a stark reminder of the hardships and dangers faced by the early explorers. These lands demonstrate just how difficult survival was. Let's delve into the enigma of Roanoke, piecing together history's fragments to understand what happened to those who dared to make a life in this new and unforgiving land. Solving this mystery means delving into the depths of the past. To understand the mystery, we must first journey back to the late 1580s. England, under the rule of Queen Elizabeth I, was eager to establish a presence in the New World. Sir Walter Raleigh, a favourite of the Queen and an ambitious man, received a charter to establish a colony in the land he named Virginia in honour of his monarch. Roanoke Island, off the coast of present-day North Carolina, was chosen for its strategic location and perceived resources. The first group of colonists, over 100 strong, arrived in 1585, led by Sir Richard Grenville. They immediately faced hardships. The land proved less fertile than expected, and relations with the native Algonquin tribes were strained from the start. The first settlement struggled to survive. Under harsh conditions, the colonists did their best to stay alive. Supplies dwindled, and conflicts with the native people increased. This made life even more difficult for the colonists, and tensions escalated. Sir Francis Drake, on a voyage to the Caribbean, encountered the struggling colonists and offered them passage back to England. This offer was a beacon of hope for the colonists. Most accepted, leaving a small contingent to hold the fort. This small group stayed behind to ensure the colony's continuity. In 1587, a second, larger expedition arrived, led by John White. This new group aimed to revitalize the colony. This time, families were among the colonists, including White's own daughter and granddaughter, Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the New World. The presence of families boosted hopes for the colony's permanence. Appointed governor of the colony, White returned to England for supplies, promising a swift return. However, keeping this promise would not be easy, but war with Spain delayed White's return for 3 long years. During this time, the colonists remained in uncertainty. When he finally returned to Roanoke in 1590, he was met with a disturbing silence. The settlement was deserted. This sight deeply shocked White. The houses stood empty, belongings scattered, and there was no sign of the colonists, men, women, or children. This silence raised many questions about the colony's fate. The colonists had vanished, leaving behind an eerie mystery and a handful of tantalizing clues. Carved into a post of the fort's fence was a single word: Croatoan. On a nearby tree, another cryptic inscription: CRO. These were the only messages found, the only clues left behind by the lost colonists. Were they messages of hope, indicating they had relocated to a nearby island inhabited by a Native American tribe known as the Croatoan? Or were they desperate cries for help, etched as their situation grew dire? The Croatoan inscription fueled one of the most enduring theories about the colony's fate: assimilation with native tribes. The Croatoans were a peaceful tribe known to have interacted with the colonists. Some believe that faced with hardship and danger, the Roanoke settlers may have sought refuge and protection among the Croatoans, eventually integrating into their society. This theory is supported by accounts of European features and artifacts later found in Croatoan villages. Could these be remnants of the Roanoke colonists, their lineage passed down through generations? While assimilation with the Croatoan offers a glimmer of hope, other theories paint a more grim picture. Conflict with hostile Native American tribes such as the Sokotan or Powhatan is a possibility. The Roanoke colonists, already struggling to survive, may have been vulnerable to attacks. Natural disasters also cast a shadow over the colony's fate. Hurricanes were a constant threat along the Carolina coast, and a particularly devastating storm could have wiped out the settlement. Disease, famine, or a combination of factors may have also dwindled the population, leaving them too weak to survive or escape. The mystery of the Roanoke colony endures, a puzzle with missing pieces that may never be found. This lost colony has occupied the minds of historians and archaeologists for centuries. Despite ongoing archaeological digs and historical research, no definitive answer explaining the colonists' disappearance has emerged. Each new discovery raises more questions. Theories abound, each with its own compelling arguments and limitations. Some suggest the colonists integrated with native tribes, while others argue for darker scenarios. Did the Roanoke colonists find refuge with the Croatoan, their descendants living on in the Outer Banks tribes? This theory is supported by some historians, or did they meet a darker fate, victims of conflict, disease, or the brutal forces of nature? This possibility haunts the minds of many. The answer remains elusive, lost in the whispers of the wind through the trees of Roanoke Island, shrouded in the mists of time. Perhaps this secret will never be fully unraveled. What to think happened to the lost colony? This mystery sparks the imagination of each of us. Share your thoughts and theories. The mystery of Roanoke is one that continues to fascinate and inspire centuries later. Perhaps one day we can piece together the missing pieces of this puzzle.